Computer. I don't know if it's recording the video as well or just the audio.
It says this meeting is being recorded. So I guess we're there.
Okay, I guess we're there. Hi,
So,
everyone.
hello.
I am Lauren,
I am Ken.
and this is Paradise After Dark,
Dark, dark, dark, dark.
Off Topic and Uncut.
Off topic. I miss that. I miss that. I really do. I used to have so much fun doing that. I'm
You
excited to do more of it.
gotta finish it.
So,
This is a Tomahawk Media production covering true crime, missing people, unsolved crime, and cold cases.
cold cases.
Please check out our website, paradiseafterdark.com. On the website, you'll find links to all of our episodes, even the archived ones, our mailing list, merch store, and links to all of our social medias. We also have a virtual tip jar. Leave us a tip, we'll give you a shout out on the show.
And
So,
today,
Ken,
today we're just going to shout out Zoom right now because wow, this Zoom is like a this is like retro now anymore, 2020.
we
Looks
are
like it goes
Zoom in
back.
because we are not in the same location.
That is true.
We
That is
we are
true.
miles and miles apart.
That is true. And
As you can
when
see, I am in a hotel room.
and
I've got my double lock and my little bolt lock, chain lock thing going. I'm on the third floor. I'm doing all of the hotel safety business. Um, so
did
yeah.
you can you tell our listeners maybe they don't know um about the concierge floor because I didn't know that and I guess you found out about it and I've never heard of that before, but I think it might be a good safety thing.
Well, it is. And so I just found out last month when I went with Mindy, one of our board members from the Florida Themis Project. We went to Advocacy Con up in Indianapolis and we stayed at a Marriott. And not every Marriott, but some Marriotts have what they call a concierge floor, where they have their own sort of room where they have their own continental breakfast. And they also have like a lunch and a dinner, like buffet style, that you can get. And then all day long, they have coolers with sodas and water that you can go get. But in order to get on this floor, you have to use your key. Like the elevator won't open on that floor unless you have a key for that floor. And I just thought that was like a little added safety thing. If you're traveling, if you happen to be staying at a Marriott, it is, I think, a little bit more money per night. But if you're traveling, especially alone, like I am right now, unfortunately, this Marriott does not have a concierge floor, but I'm pretty sure I'm safe right now. If somebody comes busting in that door behind me, well, it'll be recorded.
Well, that's
Um,
actually just it's a really neat thing to know, and I've never heard of that before. But I'm sure a lot of people, and with the rewards things that Marriott offer, that what is that Bonvoy thing that it'd be worth someone if you're traveling alone, especially anyone that's in true crime that knows
yeah,
that their safety is paramount when it comes to this kind of stuff. So
right. Yeah, definitely. And we Marriott is not sponsoring us, but I am a Bonvoy member, so I try to stay at Marriott's when I travel. Um, so yeah.
yeah. We have a little bit of a dilemma, and we need help from listeners. We are trying to raise money for our case coverage this month for our Florida Themis project, the
Yes.
Jonathan McDonald case. And I think you've posted a link. I've posted links on my Facebook page, and I think we have them out there for. We're trying to raise some money to help the family, and Lauren can explain a little better what our goal is.
Well, we're trying to raise money to add to the reward. I did an interview with Jonathan McDonald's sister. There is an episode, a full episode about Jonathan McDonald's case coming down the pipe for Paradise After Dark. But on the other end of things, on the Florida Themis Project, the month of May, we are featuring him as our feature case this month. So we've done a big social media push, public awareness campaign, and we're also doing a fundraiser to raise money to add to the reward fund. The family seems to think that the kind of people that may come forward with information about his murder may be motivated by money. So right now there's a $22,000 reward coming from the family, a $5,000 reward coming from Southwest Florida Crime Stoppers, and the Florida Themis Project has set a goal for $3,000 to make the total reward an even $30,000. That's a lot of money, for information. So, if you're not following the Florida Themis Project on social media, we are on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Sorry, we don't do the X thing. It's just too much. But we're also sharing it on Paradise After Dark too. We're sharing it on the Paradise After Dark feeds. So if you come across, I mean, you can give $5 if you can't give any money. If you could just do us a solid and share it, because we really would like to meet this goal and really help this family. This case, just to give a quick rundown, like I said, there is a full episode coming down the pipe, but Jonathan McDonald was 18 years old, murdered in Golden Gate City, Naples area of Florida, and he was found on October 31st, 2001, and case is still unsolved. And it's one of those cases, and I even was talking to Trish Rao from Florida Crime Stoppers, and she agreed. It's one of those cases that is so solvable. We just need some people to come forward with information. And yeah, if you could just help us out, if you come across the fundraiser, if you can't even give, $5, that's fine. But if you could just share it, that'd be great. We're really, really trying to push this and help this family.
Yeah, that's our goal, is to help families and victims, and it's really, I think, it's not asking a whole lot. If you can't help, like Lauren said, just share, 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 share. You know how it is. If
Share,
you
share, share.
if the if the right stuff lands on the right desk, it can be great. So we also have a charity function coming up if you're local in the area. That charity function is going to be hang on, I got it here. It's going to be June 22nd, Sunday, from 4 to 8 p.m. at Crackling Jacks. We are going to be having true crime trivia, which we've done a few at Dylan's Draft House, which we had great success with.
Well, this
Um,
one's gonna be a little different because this is
yeah,
actually a Florida man themed fundraiser.
yeah, very good point. That's important.
So it's going to be Florida True Crime Podcast, or I'm sorry, Florida True Crime Trivia. And
Yeah, well, because
we're
we're working in conjunction with the Coachella Animal Preserve too. So,
yes. So we're doing this with the animal preserve. They're bringing an alligator, they're bringing snakes. We're gonna have a lot of Florida, very Florida themed. Cracklin' Jacks is known for gator tail and gator nuggets and very, very Florida. Um, I will be there, and at that time, my book will be on pre-sale, and I will have a little setup with a probably a QR code. And anybody that purchases my book on that day through that QR code, I'm going to turn around and give all my royalties to Themis Project on that day. 100% of my
whoa,
royalties from that day, from those purchases, will go to the Themis Project. Um,
wow, that's exciting.
and not only that, but moving forward, a portion of all my royalties from here until forever will go to the Themis Project.
Well, yeah,
Um,
we're going to have 50/50 raffles, because we
yes.
raffle baskets too. So you could, like a Chinese type raffle, which is great. So, and I think the Florida Man thing is great because they apparently, from one of our board members, she's really big into the Coachella Animal Preserve, and they have an alligator that rides in a van that like
Yeah.
just sits in the middle seat. And
Yeah, they
I'm
they open the
I'm
back of the
excited
van
to
and
see this.
the alligator just climbs in and puts its head like on the center console and just chills there and rides around in the van.
He must be a vegetarian. Must be a vegetarian
I don't
alligator.
know.
So
I don't know. I'm excited to meet this alligator though.
yeah, so it's gonna be great. So that's enough about all that business. So I've been kind of bugging Lauren about something, and I've asked her a couple questions, and it has to do with like AI in true crime. And there was a news story that came out, and I'm sure that everyone has heard about it. But the one thing that, and I'm sure it's the AI where they had the victim impact statement that was read in the courtroom. So I I listened to it. I read the news, and I kept reading articles, and I'm like, okay. And me, and that's why I got glasses, reading too many articles on stuff. Try to find information on what actually happened, because everyone was so engulfed in the victim impact statement that I didn't know. And I've asked a few people who knew the case. They knew what happened in the courtroom, but no one knew exactly what the case was about. So what I'd like to do first, Lauren, and then we'll get into some other stuff that I'd like to ask you. But I want to do is read the actual newspaper article, which I found. Um, uh, this newspaper article is from the USA Today Network. It's out of the ArizonaCentral.com. Let's see. This is dated Friday, November 19th, 2021. So it's the Arizona Republic. I'm sorry. It's an article by Stephen Hernandez. So I'm going to read the article real quick. The man who was fatally shot during road rage incident on Saturday in Chandler was identified as 37-year-old Christopher Pelkey, according to a Chandler Police Department press release. According to the police, at 3:03 p.m., multiple cars were received about it. Is that right? Yeah. I can't even read an article right. My glasses are a little foggy. According to police, at 3:03 p.m., multiple calls were received about a shooting that had taken place near Gilbert and German roads. Chandler police responded. Chandler police responded to the incident and found Pelkey with a gunshot wound. The suspect, 50-year-old Gabriel Paul Orcasitas, stayed on the scene and was still armed when police arrived. An investigation found that the argument happened while both drivers were heading northbound on Gilbert Road, according to the press release. Pelkey exited his vehicle at a red light at German Road and walked behind his car to Orcasitas' vehicle. According to the news release, Orcasitas then fired multiple rounds and struck Pelkey. Pelkey was taken to a local hospital and later died of his injuries, according to the press release. Police said stray bullets from the incident struck a nearby vehicle occupied by a family of three. No one in that vehicle was hurt. Orcasitas was charged with 1 count of first-degree murder, 1 count drive-by shooting, and 3 counts of endangerment. So what I really wanted to get from that was, okay, I feel the victim impact statement. I understand the man was shot in traffic. It was a road rage incident. But what I didn't know is when I first heard the story and everything, I'm like, I can't believe that guy got out of his car and went and shot this man. But I read the article and I find out the news kind of put me in a direction that I thought that Chandler was not necessarily the aggressor. And I'm not trying to victim shame at all or anything like that. What I'm trying to say is Chandler got out of his vehicle and walked behind his car and approached the other man's car when he was shot, which does change, the view a little bit, not drastically, because obviously he should. There's other means to go about. You shouldn't have shot the man, but I read the victim impact statement, in all the stuff that I read about it, and I'm like blown away. One, because the news kind of put it in such a way to where it looked like this guy just jumped out of a car and started shooting at the guy, which made me a little concerned. You're like, man, that's crazy. I can't believe that guy did that. Two, the use of AI, in the courtroom was like, whoa, this was crazy, kind of unheard of, you know. And I do want to read this real quick, Lauren, if I can. This is a CNN article that I found, and it stated that Pelkey's sister, who's Stacey Wales, spent 2 years working on the victim impact statement she planned to give in court after her brother was shot to death in 2021 road rage incident. But even after all that time, Wales felt her statement wouldn't be enough to capture her brother Christopher Pelkey's humanity and what he would have wanted to say. So Wales decided to let Pelkey give the statement himself with the help of artificial intelligence. She and her husband created an AI-generated video version of Pelkey to play during his killer sentencing hearing earlier this month that read, in a recreation of Pelkey's own voice, a script that Wells wrote. In it, the AI version of Pelkey expressed forgiveness to the shooter, something Wells said she knew her brother would have done, but she wasn't ready to do herself just yet. The only thing that kept entering my head that I kept hearing was Chris and what he would have said, Wells told CNN. I had to verify carefully. I had to very carefully detach myself in order to write this on behalf of Chris because he was saying, oh my God, what he was saying is not necessarily what I believe, but I know it's what you think, what he would think. So I don't know about this AI business. Do you have a clip that we could play to listen?
Of the clip, um, I well, I actually extracted the audio, but let me look in my history and see if I can find the clip, the actual video, and then I'll share screen.
Okay.
That way our listeners can um our listeners can hear it, but our viewers on YouTube can
View it.
watch it. Yeah.
It's rather eerie. I mean, I was very impressed. It was very well done. It was very tastefully done. I think his sister did a
Okay.
fantastic job, but it was just, to me, it was just a little. I'm still on the fence. AI to me is as scary as the deepest parts of the ocean and the farthest reaches of space, which those two things
Okay.
are just scary.
All right, I'm gonna do screen share
Okay.
and I'm gonna show the video. You ready?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, we're sharing this one. All right, screen share. Here we go.
To remember her little brother by.
This is his dress uniform.
But she'd trade it all to have Chris Pelkey back.
Trying to make this come to life and to lift him off the page in the.
Are you seeing it paused or are you seeing it? Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm started over.
Stacey Wales has plenty to remember her little brother by.
This is his dress uniform.
But she'd trade it all to have Chris Pelkey back.
Trying to make this come to life and to lift him off the page in the best way that we could that's available to us now.
Pelkey survived multiple overseas tours in the military, but back home in November of 2021, he was leaving a church softball game when he was killed in a road rage shooting at Germain and Gilbert Roads in Chandler. His family endured a grueling legal process, 2 trials over 3.5 years. Last week, Gabriel Horcasitas was convicted of manslaughter. Before sentencing, 49 victim statements were shared. Stacey spent 2 years working on hers.
All I kept coming back to was, what would Chris say?
As a tech-forward family, Stacey and her husband Tim worked regularly with artificial intelligence. So Stacey suggested letting AI generate a victim statement directly from the victim through modern tech beyond the grave.
It became so real that I broke down in tears.
Tim prompted AI with old video, audio, and a good photo of their brother. It took a few days. Their victim rights attorney, Jessica Gattuso, was reluctant at first. Is this even legal?
Our law in Arizona says that victims can give their victim impact statement they have the discretion to choose how they give their victim impact statement. And this is how they chose to do so. So yes, it's absolutely legal.
Here's Chris in a real recording before his death.
Just like Jesus says, love God and love people.
And here's the AI version, forgiving the shooter, scripted by Stacey.
It is a shame we encountered each other that day in those circumstances. In another life, we probably could have been friends. I believe in forgiveness and in God who forgives. I always have, and I still do.
I love that AI. Thank you for that.
The state asked for 9.5 years. The judge gave 10.5 for manslaughter. We asked the Arizona Supreme Court about the general use of AI in courtrooms. Justice Ann Scott Timmer said AI has great potential, but also risks if misused. For the Pelkey family, they found justice and a measure of peace, especially after one of Stacey's children reacted to seeing Uncle Chris one more time.
Mom and Dad, thank you so much for making that. I needed to hear from Uncle Chris one last time. And that meant so much. Thank you. And that is not what this was intended to do, but the result of having it be a healing piece for anybody who saw it. was just such a beneficial result.
Hi, I'm Brett.
Okay,
Jonathan.
that wasn't
This is Darla.
the video that I thought it was. Where, hang on just one second. Is this the one?
Hello.
In other news today, a dramatic victim impact statement delivered in.
Is this here? I want to see the actual video. Are you there, Ken?
Yeah, I'm here. I saw it. I did hear it.
Yeah, but I had the full video pulled up and now I don't.
Well, that's an excerpt. Do you have the audio we can install into the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here. I'm just going to play the audio because I can't find. I'm sorry. I'm going through my history and I did a lot of watching the Diddy trial or watching the updates from the Diddy trial today.
Oh my God, I can't watch that because my brain, and you can see my brain is about to explode. So that's why my hair is crawling back. It's so my head can just, but whoa, God, that I couldn't pay attention to that.
Having a
That's one of those.
Lord and
I'm
be
just going to find out later about it. I'll watch the documentary later.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a documentary. All right, I found the full video. All right, I'm going to screen share so that we can watch the full video. Where am I? Oh my gosh. Okay. Share it. There we go.
Hello. Just to be clear for everyone seeing this, I am a version of Chris Pelkey recreated through AI that uses my picture and my voice profile. I was able to be digitally regenerated to share with you today. But here is insight into who I actually was in real life. Take a look.
All right, I'm Chris Pelkey. I served with the United States Army in the infantry from upstate New York. And what else?
Where'd you deploy?
Where'd I deploy? I went to Baghdad in 2006, 2008, and then I went to Afghanistan in 09 to 10. I think the number one thing is God. Is having a relationship with the Lord and being close with Him, and that He really is the only answer to every problem we have, everything we go through. We got to do it with Jesus at our side. Everything else I've tried has failed. And aside from that, just like Jesus says, love God and love people. Being in that community with people where we can lift each other up and support each other and have that community of like-minded brethren, combat veterans, people that believe in the Lord, and people that are sober and trying to live that good life. So it's just all about God and all about people.
So as you can see from my video I recorded in 2021, this here is a true representation of who I was, not how the courtroom portrayed me. So I would like to make my own impact statement. So, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. It means a lot. I can't tell you how humbled I am for those that spoke up for me, everyone who flew in, took off work, those who are watching this remotely, and for everyone who has supported my family and loved ones through 3.5 years and 2 trials. I wish I could be with you all today. To your honor, Judge Lang, thank you for making yourself available to see this case to the end, especially when the rescheduled trial conflicted with your daughter's spring break. Thank you for listening to everyone today. Thank you for reading the flood of impact statements that came in before today that so many people wrote on my behalf. Every single one of them is meaningful and gives a glimpse into my life with each of them. To Gabriel Horcasitas, the man who shot me. It is a shame we encountered each other that day in those circumstances. In another life, we probably could have been friends. I believe in forgiveness and in God who forgives. I always have, and I still do. to my family and everyone that I've met along the way. It was a lot of fun. You know, I always had a lot of fun. Love each other because you never know how long you have, but make the most of each day and live your life. It is okay to stumble. God has you. Remember, getting old is a gift that not everybody has. So embrace it and stop worrying about those wrinkles. I once played with one of those filters on your phone where you can make yourself look old. I shared it with a cousin of ours years ago. This is the best I can ever give you to what I would have looked like if I got the chance to grow old. Scary, huh? No, really. Thank you to everyone for being here. It means more than you know. Well, I'm going to go fishing now. Love you all. See you on the other side.
Wow.
Wow.
I could see where that would be somewhat impactful. Ooh. Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about that, but the whole time I kept thinking, those aren't his words. I mean, he's no longer with us. So those aren't his words. Those are his sister's words being portrayed as his words. I mean, it was beautiful, but it's a little creepy to think that AI is creeping into the justice system. And well, AI is creepy to begin with, but I just for shits and giggles, I went and talked to AI today, and I asked AI what they thought. Are you ready to hear?
I am ready.
So I asked AI, what are the dangers of allowing AI to make statements in court cases? This is AI's response. Allowing AI to make statements in a court case poses several dangers, including the potential for bias in decision making, lack of accountability, and the risk of misinterpretation of legal nuances. AI systems may inadvertently reflect societal biases present in their training data, leading to unfair outcomes. Furthermore, AI lacks the accountability to understand context and emotional subtleties, which are often crucial in legal proceedings. The absence of human oversight raises concerns about the reliability of AI-generated statements, as there may be no clear accountability for errors or misjudgments. Additionally, the complexity of legal language and the importance of precedent may be beyond the current capabilities of AI, resulting in oversimplified or incorrect interpretations that could undermine the justice system. And then I asked AI, I said, is it okay for a deceased person to make an AI-generated victim impact statement in court? AI responded, the question of whether a deceased person can make an AI-generated victim impact statement in court raises complex legal and ethical issues. Generally, victim impact statements are intended to convey the emotional and psychological effects of a crime on the victim and their loved ones. Since a deceased person cannot express their feelings or experiences directly, any AI-generated statement would likely be based on data and narrative provided by surviving family members or friends. This could lead to concerns about authenticity, consent, and the potential for misrepresentation of the deceased's true feelings. Courts may need to consider the validity and appropriateness of such statements, weighing the intent behind them against the principles of justice and representation. So that's what AI has to say about AI-generated victim impact statements.
So even
And
AI is concerned about AI.
well, like I was saying, when we were watching that video, it was beautiful what he said,
Oh, indeed.
but that wasn't his words. It was his sister's.
Yeah. Well, one thing that afterwards, the Judge Lang, he's the one that proceeded over the thing. He said he loved that AI. You heard him say that in the original
Yeah.
video you posted. And a lot of the family were speaking and asking Lang to give the maximum sentence. And one of the quotes from Lang, he had said, uh, even though that's what you wanted, referring to the sister, he said, you allowed Chris to speak from his heart as you saw it. Lang told Pelkey's family. I didn't hear him ask for the maximum sentence. So they obviously allowed AI to generate that, but yet what they wanted wasn't necessarily conveyed. So they sort of allowed, the AI to convey his message, but his message didn't ask for the sentence. It actually was asking for forgiveness, which, could have, not necessarily in this case, because he actually exceeded what was on the table for penalty. But in
I
some
think the state
cases,
was asking for 9.5 years, but the judge sentenced him to 10.5 years.
yeah, and rightly so. I mean, I get it. Yeah, not Chan, but Pelkey got upset. He got out of the car. It could definitely have been avoided. So yeah, I get that. But what I'm saying is, in some situations, it could have actually softened the impact because he was asking for forgiveness, and it showed Christopher Pelkey in sort of a softer manner, more of a Jesus Christ forgiveness manner, which could have actually cut the sentence in half. So I guess it could have worked backwards. If you want the family, I mean, if the family was looking to get a maximum sentence, you understand what I'm saying? I'm not sure I'm conveying that correctly.
Oh, I get it.
So one other thing that I read too, how do you say his last name? How do you say it? Horcasitas?
Yeah.
Horcasitas? Now, Horcasitas' lawyer was Jason Lamb, and he said that the defense did not receive any advance notice that the AI would be used in victim impact statement. He added, it appears that the judge gave some weight to the AI video, and that is an issue that will likely be pursued on appeal. Lamb said that once the defense team reviews transcripts, the use of AI will likely be brought up in the appellate court. Now, his initial reaction to the replica was shock, and he found it a bit cringy to reincarnate someone and then put words in their mouth. While victims have an absolute right to address the court at sentencing, my view is that this crossed the line of not only ethics and morals, but good taste, Lamb said. He added that during the incident in November 2021, witnesses testified that they saw Pelkey behaving aggressively, and he allegedly used the words, "Do you want a piece of me?" So those were his last words, not simply what was said on the AI. So now the use of AI in the courtroom could potentially really hinder the trial or the case and actually help the defense in the appellate court. I mean, would you agree that that's a possibility, or do you think he's just putting that out there? Like that's his, because a defense lawyer, you know how they're going to do. That's like a last attempt. Their job is to
This is a
protect the
first.
lawyer.
This is a first. This is the first time that this has ever happened. So this is going to set a precedent.
You're right. Yeah. What do they call precedents in the precedents in legal lawyer stuff?
Precedent.
No, case law.
Well, maybe.
What do they call it? Torts? What do they call it? Like,
No.
What's that little word you used to use about precedent? Oh, what do they call it? Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know. Anyway, I think it does sort of cross ethical and moral boundaries. I don't necessarily agree with it. I think the video was lovely. It was a lovely gesture. I don't agree that we should start allowing AI statements at all. I mean, our justice system is fucked up enough. And really it is. We don't need computer generated fuck ups as well. Human fuck ups are enough. We really don't need to start adding, anything more. I don't like it. I really don't like it. I'm not a fan of AI. I'm a fan of AI when it comes to like graphics and stuff, because I'll be like, make me a unicorn with a cat flying on its back, and I want the cat to be wearing a sombrero and then there's my image. Pretty cool.
Exactly.
But as far as I saw this, I'm not even going to say who it was, but it was a video. You saw it too because it was sent to both of us. It was supposed to be a joke, but it was a person saying some things that they weren't saying. It was AI generated. Their voice was being AI generated, but it looked so real. And the only reason I caught it was because, and I called it out when we were in a group chat. I said that person's mouth is hidden behind the microphone, so you can't even read the lips. And when at the certain points when they're saying what they're saying, and I mean, it was funny, but it's scary.
It's very
really
scary.
Somebody could take this video we're making right now and turn it into us saying some pretty crazy,
Horrific things,
vile,
yeah.
horrific shit.
Absolutely.
I mean, it scares me. It really does.
Well, one thing I looked at today, and this came up when I was doing my research, which you know how it is when you're looking up stuff, and that's why we got to wear glasses from staring at computer screens all the time and looking this crap up. But one of the things that I found,
I cannot see without my glasses.
I can't either anymore. My God, I'm going to blame the computer screens, not old age. But one of the things
Got
that
the blue
popped up,
blocker screen.
yeah, these here do.
Put in.
So, oh my God, pop-ups. Where was this at? Let me go back to where I was because that was the article I wanted to get to. So I get into looking all this stuff up, and then I find this. This is The Verge. This is an article by The Verge. I don't know who that is, but it says right here, and you're going to allow the victim impact statements for AI in the courtroom on a trial like that. But where do you stop? And here, this is sort of in the courtroom. They're using AI, but in a whole different fashion. It says a man's recent attempt to use AI generated avatar in his legal appeal made an immediate impression on a New York courtroom, but probably not the one he was hoping for. Jerome DeWald, a 74-year-old that the Register notes is behind a startup that says it's revolutionizing legal self-representation with AI. He was chewed out during an employment dispute hearing on March 26th for failing to inform judges that he had artificially generated the man presenting his oral argument. While the court had approved DeWald to submit a video for his case, Justice, whatever that is, Daniels, became confused when the unknown speaker, who clearly wasn't DeWald, appeared on the screen. "Hold on," he said, interrupting the video after the avatar had barely finished its first sentence. "Is that counsel for the case?" And DeWald said, "I generated that. It's not a real person." DeWald told the Register that the avatar, a big, beautiful hunk of a guy called Jim, was one of the stock options provided by an AI avatar company called Tavis. DeWalt said the video was submitted due to difficulties he experienced with extended speaking, but the courtroom was unaware that the video contents were artificially generated. So I'm not going to get into all the other stuff. If you want to look into it, you can. So this guy is basically creating this company to basically have AI just speak for you. So you put all the stuff in there, and this AI guy goes up there, and he's this big, handsome hunk of a lawyer that's going to present your case. And I'm like, but that was not allowed. So where do we draw the line? I mean, we all know that AI is definitely helping law enforcement. I mean, it helps with finding out, basically connecting things. I mean, there's finding out about, putting puzzle pieces together. There's so many things that you can look into with AI, and I can't come up with them right in my brain. I haven't eaten dinner yet, and I think that's why. But there's so many things that AI can do to help law enforcement. But there's so many other things that have to be put into place because, yeah, it helps law enforcement, but it also helps criminals. So you figure like deep fakes. There was I heard it on Dave and Chuck the Freak, because that's a local radio. It's not a local, it's a radio station, but they play it locally here. Dave and Chuck the Freak, they were talking about whatever that deep fake porn site is, excuse me, where they take people's bodies and they put celebrity faces on them.
Oh yeah.
Well, that site done. They just pulled everything because apparently there was a bunch of stuff going on. Well, AI, people were posting all these AI generated images, which is all it was. So I mean, it could take my face right now from this screen and put it on some body, and then they could put you in a room. I mean, AI is some scary stuff. So it can actually help criminals. I mean, criminals could basically, it creates autonomy for them. So they can literally like break into power grids, water treatment plants. They can, all these different municipalities. I mean, they can control so much stuff, so law enforcement, as they progress,
It's so scary.
I know, utilizing AI, they have to utilize AI in a fashion that helps them, which we love. I mean, basically preventing crime, stopping crime, catching criminals, bringing together cold cases and putting this with that. I mean, AI has so many great things that it can do, but also with so many great things, it brings on so many scary, crazy things. And that's why I mentioned earlier that AI to me is like the deepest parts of the ocean and the farthest distance of space. It's just my brain can't fathom
I
the
know.
things that are
It's hard.
capable.
It's hard to wrap your head around it.
Yeah. And one thing that I was talking to a guy today as a customer, and he does computer stuff. And asked him what he thought about AI. And he said, the scariest thing about AI is like your cell phone. Your cell phone understands habits, your drive times, your paths. It's a learning process. So it's like Cyberdyne systems from Terminator.
Yeah.
It educates itself, it grows, it learns, and it's going to perpetually just continue to get smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter. And then that's when it can be really, really, really scary. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, mind blown. But
So
so all of this, I know it was one of those. I kind of was asking Lauren about her feelings on it, and then we thought that maybe we get on here and ask you guys your thoughts on AI. Maybe you guys could hit us up, send us a message, email or something. Let us know what you think about AI. I mean, what scares
yeah.
you about it? What do you use AI for? I mean, do you use AI? I mean, I know that you've used it in some of our promotional stuff for the company.
Mhm.
So I mean, what do other
I
people
use
use it
it
for?
for, well, like I use it, I guess Grammarly, this program that I use is AI when I'm like creating a document or writing a letter or something. Um, I use it a lot for promotion, social media. Like I'll just tell it to make me something and it does. It's pretty
Yeah,
neat.
yeah.
Um,
And that's what's beneficial. But those benefits come with some other stuff too. So it's
yeah.
definitely a scary situation. But anyway, no, that's
So yeah,
that's
we
our
want to hear your thoughts. This is going to be our first attempt at actually putting the video of our episode on YouTube. Um
well, maybe we can ask AI to help.
maybe. Maybe. Oh, also, real
Can you
quick,
have AI make me beautiful?
we will be at the True Crime Podcast Festival in Boston, July 20th. I'm sorry, 18th to the 20th in Boston. You can go to truecrimepodcastfestival.com or Google it. You can get your tickets. Use code PAD20 for 10% off your ticket.
That's a.
And
I'm excited. You've been before. You've been a couple. I've never been. I'm excited to
yeah,
go.
I'm excited too. I haven't been into the True Crime Podcast Festival in a few years. I think last time I went was in Dallas. They bounce all over. Now this year they're in Boston. We're going. We're gonna have a table. I'm very excited. And
We have a busy, busy few months
we
coming
ha
up. You've
we have a
got True
crazy
Crime
summer.
Podcast Festival. You have a book launch. We have charity functions going on, and also for the folks in September. Now we didn't in Nashville. We didn't have a booth. We kind of just
Mm,
took it easy because we didn't want to. When things were happening last year, like we talked about in our not last episode, but our sort of quick
our
little
last
talk.
Off
But
Topic
you want to
Uncut.
tell them where we're going to be in September?
CrimeCon. Yes,
so
we will be
excited.
at CrimeCon. We will have a booth. I don't know. We literally just signed the contract this week, so I don't know what our promo code is yet. I'll have to figure that out. And
Yeah, if
then
you don't
we'll
have
get it
tickets,
out to you guys.
just put it on
But
hold and we'll get you a code. You guys get some tickets.
CrimeCon is at the beginning of September in Denver, Colorado, and I'm looking forward to it. We're going out a little bit earlier. Going to spend a couple nights at the Stanley Hotel.
We're gonna call it the Overlook Hotel.
I'm sorry, the Overlook Hotel. We're going to call it that.
Yeah, I know it's the Stanley Hotel, but we're gonna call it the Overlook because that's what I want to do.
You know what? This is totally off topic, right? But I think all of our fans, all listeners know that I'm like a big Stephen King fan. And I belong to some like Stephen King groups online, and somebody posted the other day that The Shining was the worst book they ever read. And I about fell out of my chair because The Shining was literally one of the best books I've ever read. And I just, the nerve, the nerve.
The unmitigated gall.
But then people love his new books like Holly. Only Stephen King fans are gonna know what I'm talking about. I'm so over Holly. I'm so over. She needs to die. Kill her.
My God.
Kill her in some kind of really fucked up way,
Hey,
like
whoa,
you do,
whoa. Listen
Mr.
to
King.
you. Are you AI? Are you
No,
are you
I'm
Lauren?
just so over. This character has been in like the last 5 books, and he's even admitted. Stephen King has admitted in interviews that he's like in love with this character. He's probably making like an AI version of her, something. I don't know. But I'm so
Well, I'm
over
excited.
Holly.
I'm about to listen to The Long Walk. So
Good.
I'm gonna start that.
I read The Long Walk probably when I was like 14, and I haven't read it since. But there's a movie coming out in September of this year. They're making a movie out of it. And the main character is actually Philip Seymour Hoffman's son. I can't think of his name. His last name's Hoffman. But when I watched the trailer, I think it's going to be a good movie. It's never going to be as good as the book, because books have words and stuff. But it's such a good book, and I think you'll like it.
I'm excited. So Lauren,
All right.
I am going to make me some food.
Okay.
I'm hungry.
I've already eaten.
I have not.
I'm going to eat a Carmelo bar.
Shame on you. Anyway. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Wait a minute. We got to do our outro.
That's it.
This is the shit you get when it's
uncut.
Off Topic Uncut. All right, everyone. That's it for this episode. Please remember to check out our website for links to all of our social medias, merch store, and more. And please check out our nonprofit organizations that help families, loved ones, and law enforcement with resources in missing persons, unsolved, and cold cases. The Florida Themis Project at floridathemisproject.org. And as always, thanks for listening to Paradise After Dark.
Dark, 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 dark.